I wouldn't really want to limit it, because that's not what I'm interested in. Birkeland Currents. Yeah, it's fascinating again that this is the card I picked, because it does kind of look like sort of DNA, you know, one spinning around the other, and that's a good place to introduce the dice tower, because the dice tower itself has 2 spiral stairs in the dice tower. It started off as one really big stair, but when I was building it and I put a dice in the top, the dice didn't fall enough. The distance between the steps was too small, so when the dice fell, it didn't have enough gravitational momentum. Is that the right terminology? The weight of it falling a certain height wasn't significant enough for that dice to then have a knock-on effect to then fall to the next step. So I went, what should I do? For, a few hours, had a cup of tea. Pondered it a bit more. What should I do next? And then suddenly it came to me. All this talk about DNA and everything, and I was like, that's right. I'll make it into a DNA tower. So then the dice is then going down a double helix DNA spiral tower to then come out the bottom. And that's your dice roll. For whenever there's a dice roll in the game, again, I haven't made up any rules yet. No, I haven't even made up rules yet, no. Be interesting, if there is anybody out there that's made it this far through the video, who is actually interested in the theory of games, beyond even actually playing them, just the actual theory of it, and how to lay the foundations of a good game, as in getting the right, little pieces and tokens you collect, and, dice rolls, and, making it so people's imaginations are, activated during it, so that it actually becomes an interesting, exciting game of all different information that you can then interact with, and also learn about reality, and learn about history, and learn about different things that are discovered, and then, do a bit of investigating. Ooh, what we're going to investigate next? So a game of investigation too. So would that mean that there's a limitation on the number of cards? No. Limitation on the number of mushrooms that it can play? Not really. No. Doesn't really matter. What matters is if we actually figure out what the actual truth is, so we actually be freer now, without having to wait around anymore. Because we've got all the data, it's just arguments back and forth. But we've already got all the data, therefore we should actually be able to figure it out. Yeah, we should have been able to figure that out 20 years ago, really. Yeah. Well, we're here now. Or are we here then? Well, you won't really know for sure. I could have made this video a long time ago. I'm just releasing it now. Maybe I've kept this all secret till the appropriate time. It is yellow self-existing human today. Makes sense to me. So not scroll can go down here. So now if you're still tuned in, I'm actually going to take apart the dice tower, show you the dice tower, and then put it back together. Hopefully I managed to do that without too many problems, because it's actually held together. It's actually held together by a rubber band. You can see that up there. That's just a clip that doesn't need to be there. Here's one of the openings at the bottom where the dice comes out. and it's hexagonal, and then there's another opening where the dice comes out. There's the top, and then the dice goes in, and there's two towers, two spirals you can see in that, and they're flaps, so one of the flaps is fallen off, so I've just stuck it back on. So two spiraling stairs, but unfortunately I think there's some dice stuck in it, because I was explaining to a friend why I was making this dice tat, and then because I travelled with it, and it's you know, it's a draft tower. So I'm removing the rubber band, and then all that's holding it there, the base, is these chunky staples here. So you can see these chunky staples, and that's holding it onto this piece at the bottom, and then you can see the staples sticking out. And this is basically a folded up bit of card packaging that I received a book in, that I decided to make a bit of art out of. Right, so removing the stabilization staples. So it's only been 20 minutes. It's only been 20 minutes. Obviously 20 minutes for some people is a very long time. These are the little catchment trays that come at the bottom. So a staple. And now that I've taken those out, this now detaches from the base. You can see where I've drawn some basic sketching lines for where it aligns. And I kept this fold here for extra stabilization, and that's an original fold from the packaging material, and everything is laid out mathematically inside. These bits sticking out are little bits of wood, and they slot through and come out the other side, and they hold the bits of card which are the steps of the stairway at a particular height, at a particular angle, so when the dice goes down, it goes down and rotates, comes out the bottom. So I'll remove these, and they also hold it together, but it's good to have a rubber band that gives it extra security. So that's all the rubber bands removed, and it opens out. Oh look, there's one that's a step that's fallen off, and there we go. There's all the steps, and you can see all the different maths, so that it's a hexagonal shape, and then all the steps are then at a particular angle. Obviously I didn't use strong enough glue, because it was just an idea that I was playing around with. So let's have a look. Yeah, definitely some of these steps have become misaligned. Yeah. So if you want to find out what's happened to this tower, and you don't want to sit around watching me fiddle around with it, I guess the option is, I guess I could just pause the camera, but I don't really feel like pausing the camera. See, I'm just a bit too much of a naturalist. I think there's actually something wrong with our reality, that people don't have enough time to just, you know, have a moment interested in something, giving time to something. Well, it's become a very fast-paced world. Yeah. Very fast-paced world. No, I'm not into that, thanks. Well, you can be into that if you want. Yeah. No, I don't actually agree with it as a concept. I think it actually is one of the reasons there's so many ill people. Is lack of peace and stress. I'll give these all an extra press down just in case some of them are about to become dislodged. I should have used stronger glue maybe. However, there's something quite satisfying about taking it apart and putting it back together. There's another loose one at the bottom. And yes, it's quite complicated to put it back together again. It may not even work the first time. Yeah, it's that complicated. Well, it's meant to be, you know, it's meant to be replicable. You know, there it is sitting there. This is it now. I'm not changing its shape. You can see there's an arc here, which is it's fanned out. You know. It's hexagonal, but the tension of the card is now like fanned out, and you can see the steps that are just hanging. So when the bits of wood that connect it together and partially hold it together but hold the steps are fitted through it, they then come through this hole underneath there, so that this sits at an angle, resting on the bit of wood. And then they're all being they've all been mathematically calculated at a specific distance from each other relative to the other one. And that was so I was going to have a big long stair that went all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, come out the bottom. But that didn't work, so I just changed the rotation. So instead of going one way down the stair, I went the other way around the stair, and by doing that, that enabled me to have two stairs. So in some regards you could say that the dice tower itself decided how it wanted to be built. I didn't decide that. No, the dice tower did. And this is a fascinating thing about discoveries and inventions. You know, however simple they may appear to be, the concept is to, come up with a concept, design and build it to the right specifications so it works, fulfills a function, and then can be recreated at a future date, maybe by someone else. So it's all open source. If you want to build a dice tower, that's an interesting project to build. I think it adds another level of randomness to some sort of board game of some kind. Can I remember how to put it back together? Where are we now? Oh, we've reached the half an hour. We're at half an hour, and we're in the midpoint of the whole process with the dice tower. So let me think. So we've got a hexagonal there, and I remember there being some complications to this. That's right, I was going to make windows. I was going to build windows in the side, because once you get to the bottom, once it's held up together with these bits of wood, once you get to the bottom, you sort of have to close your eyes, and it's quite an interesting experience. You've got to sort of use the force and just sort of sense whether the bit of card is actually doing its proper purpose in the actual structure of the dice tower. So that's something I've forgotten. Maybe it'd be nice to have windows. I wonder, should I make windows now? Or maybe take it apart another point, put windows in another time. I think that sounds like a good idea. It's fine if you don't have time. I'm doing this for me, primarily. I find all this information fascinating. I'd like to, have some sort of interactive, what is termed a game, to figure all out. Without leaving anything out. Which is the problem, actually, with some of these, incredibly highfalutin, very, very know-it-all experts from around the world. They always seem to leave something out. Always leave out something very important to be left out. But the game would be about figuring out the truth. I guess some people don't even believe such a thing actually exists anymore. So maybe if I go like this, I remember there being a certain knack to it. Well, I've managed to connect it. Let me think. Oh yeah, it takes ages to put this together. It takes a really long time. So if you don't have the patience for it, yes, I could make sped up version, slow down version. You can skip. There's a skip function on videos. Somewhere down there, you can click it with your mouse and just move it forward. I might say something fascinating in the meantime though, and you'll miss that. So it's up to you. You can skip forward if you want though, I won't take an offence, I completely understand, no time to waste, Every second counts on this world, yeah, every second counts. So that's two. That's two of them. Maybe it's got a bit of wear and tear from use. Oh, I got really into it, I get up in the morning, make some sort of tea or coffee, and then I, put some dice in the dice tower. I get some, nice dice random rolls in the morning. What do you do in the morning? Yeah, that's what you like to do. Cool. That's nice. This is where it starts getting nippy. But it's the more you have shots of figuring out how it works. And you sort of get a sense of where everything is. And if you've got random bits of wood around, you can use those as a sort of realignment stick. Yeah. So where's the next one? So here to here to here to here. Yeah. So then here and then it's coming back through here, so that must be that one then. And that one I can't actually see into the dice tower to actually know whether that has actually aligned. It's beyond my visual ability. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things beyond our visual ability. Yes, they would be in the game too. Yes, the full spectrum of consciousness. Yes, the full spectrum of, you know, the galactic reality we live in. All these different things. Yes, all of it. Yes, the entire lot. Yes, all of it. As an interactive, yeah, you play as a mushroom. Yeah, you play as a mushroom. You start off the game in a holographic matrix. You know, you maybe pick up some, you know, magic oracle cards, which have a particular function, and that's some of your basic magic powers. Maybe the different colour mushroom gives you more powers with a certain kind of card, who knows. You roll dice, maybe there's some basic math problem missions on this level, or geometric, you know, you've got to solve certain geometric puzzles with your cards, maybe by yourself or with another mushroom, to then be able to go through a Stargate, so you've activated some sort of, you know, intergalactic codes. You go through a Stargate, and you land on Unsania. And then on Unsania, you have these cards. You have these oracle cards with you, which connect you back to the holographic plane. But then, yeah, then you learn about these things like Birkeland currents and polar reversals and coronal mass ejections. There's all kinds of stuff. Another set of cards down here. Deforestation. Yeah, fracking, yeah. So it's all part of the game, of what's actually going on. But can we actually conceptualize all of it all at the same time, all these different aspects, to then actually come down to an actual solution that works for everybody? Maybe we'll just bang our heads against the wall for the rest of eternity, winners and losers, snakes and ladders, on it goes. Well, then nothing's changed. Oh, then it's just down to a dice roll. Well, if you want it to be just down to a dice roll, then you obviously want to play a different kind of game. I'm interested in theories of what a game is, but to me this isn't actually a game. Well, there's a specific reason it's a spiral dice tower, for a start. But I'm not going to go into that right now. People can decide whatever they wish to decide. That's what free will is. Maybe everybody's forgotten what free will is, but that's not up to me either, thankfully. Oh, it was fun as well. Yeah, it was really fun. You know, exercising my... I found